this horse runs free. And this group is saying, in order for us to have progress, you have to submit.
See how wild he is when I'm done with him.
Vital part of healthy relationship is honoring the authenticity. Who are you? Who do you want to be?
Such good freaking animators at DreamWorks. If any of you are watching this 23 years later, good work.
West Coast, we're coming to California, baby!
Live shows.
Nailed
18th
it.
in Los Angeles, 20th in the Bay Area. A Q&A, live meet and greet, merch.
Link is in the description below.
It will be fun. Hello and welcome to Cinema Therapy. I'm Alan Seawright, a professional filmmaker who needs therapy. I'm joined by that guy.
Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist who loves movies. And what movie that I love are we therapizing today?
Well, it's a movie, so
Yes,
you
I love it.
Shadow is a man of simple tastes. Moving picture?
I love it!
I love it!
Every movie feels like the first time I'm seeing a movie. Do you guys seeing this?
It's like magic. Speaking of the magic of cinema, the Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron. I'm going to have you react to Cinnamon
Ooh.
Horse.
Okay, I recently saw this for the very first time.
Me too.
Honestly, didn't make waves when it came out.
No, and we were not of the right age. Like, we weren't kids when it came out, so it didn't, like, go into rotation with the videos and stuff. And so we didn't... I didn't catch it.
But some of you really love it.
And have been asking for it a lot.
All right, so here we go. Oof. Okay. I'm not sure where exactly this movie is supposed to take place. It feels a little like North Dakota, like where Mount Rushmore is also where they filmed Dances with Wolves. But then suddenly it's like Southern Utah, Arizona.
It's the geography doesn't make any sense. There's like
It's the American West.
it's all of it, but it's all within
Galloping
20-minute
distance, yeah.
gallop of each other. Which, listen, that would be great. It's called Disneyland.
But what are we seeing here is a classic, psychologically, battle of wills. I'm not going to treat this horse like a horse. I'm going to treat this horse like a person and talk about it like a human character because it's anthropomorphized. Matt Damon narrates.
It's clearly extremely smart.
Headbutt. Yeah! Censored in England.
Murph, you okay?
Did that part make the cut in the UK? Probably not. Not
I
when
don't know,
it
can
came
you
out.
not headbutt in England?
Soccer in England, when the brawls would happen, there was a lot of headbutting. And in order to curb all the headbutting that was happening in the UK, our UK fans, can you vouch for me on this? This is my understanding.
Insane. I have never heard this
Yeah.
before, and I consider myself an Anglophile.
Yeah, no, like superhero movies and stuff that have headbutts removed. Here's a famous one. Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones.
Oh, sure.
Headbutts Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
Absent from Attack of the Clones in the UK at the time.
Wow.
If you saw this in the UK, did they allow it because it was a horse? Or did they cut it out?
Who are we talking about?
The entire story of Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron, there's like two big themes. One is home and family, good, be with them, get home. The second is stubbornness is a virtue.
Staying true to yourself is a virtue,
Okay.
not stubbornness.
Well, and you're right, staying true to yourself because along the way, he's still true to himself and he lets his walls down and he lets the Native American become his friend and he lets him ride him. And there's a couple things that happen where it's like, okay, here's where stubbornness is a virtue. When people are trying to change who you are and tell you not to be who you are, that's a good time to be stubborn.
I would say then that maybe that's not stubbornness, that's perseverance.
Yeah, I mean, I think some stubbornness is necessary for perseverance, but perseverance is...
Listen, stubbornness and perseverance are the same thing. It's like if an ugly guy approaches you versus an attractive guy approaches you. One of them's a stalker and one of them's kind of cute.
No, we've talked about this. It's like manipulation versus influence.
Oh, okay.
They're kind of the same thing, but one of them is benign and one of them is not. I think stubbornness is usually a character flaw. You're pig-headed, you refuse to learn. Perseverance looks a lot like stubbornness, but it's for something where you're like, I know this is right and I'm not going to be moved. And I'm not going to be moved.
I know I can push this riverboat up over a mountain.
Herzog is stranded in the jungle with a 300-ton steamship that won't move, and time is running out.
That's a deep cut for all you Herzog fans.
Fighting for survival and growing and just rotting away.
We've got a horse and the soldiers at the fort are trying to break him. And he's like, screw you, this isn't me. I'm a wild horse, and wild hearts can't be broken.
Did you set any financial goals or resolutions for the new year?
I did. We know budgets can be tight after the holidays, but Upside can help you out with that.
The free Upside app gets you cash back on gas, groceries, and dining.
You just open the app, claim an offer, pay with your card like normal, and get cash back through Upside.
And yes, it's cash back, not points you'll forget to use or credits that expire.
I used Upside just the other day to take some of our editors out for lunch. We got some spicy chicken with a spicy offer. 30% back.
Whoa!
It was crazy, dude. I got an extra milkshake.
Every time I get gas, I use the Upside app, and I've been paying less than $2 per gallon for gas. First time since 2008, yo.
Upside has given back $1 billion with a B dollars to its users.
To find out how much you could earn, download the free Upside app and use the promo code CinemaTherapy to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas.
That's an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas using promo code CinemaTherapy. That's on top of the other offer. Guys, they're basically giving you gas. Okay, I just gotta say, the animation, top notch.
Yeah.
DreamWorks animators are like, they have fully come into their own at this point. This is great stuff.
I mean, they came into their own right out of the gate with Prince of Egypt. I mean, they were...
Valid.
But they did this, Road to El Dorado, and Prince of Egypt. Was it 3 or was it 4?
They did one more after this, I can't
Of
remember what it was.
hand-drawn.
Yeah.
And I love the style, and you can even see it in the horse's eyes. It's like, Moses?
Ramesses?
So you meet a will as strong as yours. And I think the lesson is going to be fight
That is
dirty.
such a great close-up shot with the like shiver in the legs.
You
Yeah.
see, gentlemen, any horse can be broken.
They really nailed some horse stuff.
Move along.
Like all my horse girlies out there are gonna be on board with this. I worked on a ranch for 2
There are
summers.
those in Washington
American
who believe
West.
the West will never be settled.
Spent a lot of time around horses, rode a lot of
The
horses.
Northern Pacific
They did a
Railroad
really
will
good
never
job with the
breach
horses.
Nebraska. A hostile Lakota will never submit to Providence.
In other words, we're trying to convert him to
And it is
Christianity.
that manner of small thinking that would say this horse could
I
never
have
be
thoughts on
broken.
this period of history.
I mean,
Discipline.
everybody does.
Time,
Not good.
patience are the three great
I don't know, like a lot of it, horrific. Like part of me.
Sometimes a horse has got to do what a horse has got to do.
See, we don't need that narration there.
Was one of those times.
We saw it all in his face.
Yep. And the assumption is kids aren't smart enough to follow that, which is ridiculous. We later saw that in WALL-E, which was very nonverbal, and kids loved it.
And I love this move.
Okay, Hans Zimmer's score here is saying beef, it's what's for dinner, but... Ooh. Ooh. That was a lot of hang
I
time.
love how long they hold on him being in the air and everybody's just like, oh. Honestly, I would have gone, I mean, it's a kid's show, so maybe not, but if it were me, I would have had a bone break in the sound of him hitting the ground.
Yeah.
I would have had a full that and then put him in a sling for the rest of the movie.
So here's what I both admire and detest the story of the American West. Here's what I admire. Taming the wilderness, the whole process of there is nothing there but harsh rock and wildlife, much of it that wants to kill you, and saying we're going to create civilization out of these raw materials with sheer grit and determination is pretty badass. But the flip side, of course, is the treatment of the natives and the treatment of wild animals and the sheer brutality that was done in the name of, well, it's a tough frontier, so you got to be tough. And there's a difference between toughness and cruelty. I think there's definitely so much to be said for grit and resilience. The fact is, life is hard. It's going to hit you with some shit. You have to be resilient. You have to be strong. You have to be tough. But when you sacrifice your moral center, when your will and what you want becomes more important than living in harmony with everything around you, because like speaking of the natives were tough. The natives were gritty. The natives were resilient. The natives also, by and large, respected the earth, respected the animals. I see this story and I see this horse and it's like the ancient ways versus quote unquote progress.
Right.
This horse runs free with his herd and he's happy. And this group is saying, in order for us to have progress, you have to submit. And there's a huge difference between, in order for me to have progress in my life, I have to submit. Like, I have to make sacrifices. I have to make changes. You get to say that for yourself. You don't get to say that to somebody or something else and say, no, you have to yield so that I can have what I want. And that's the ugly side of this part of history. And I think the film explores it really well.
The thing I love about this scene that we did not need narration for is Spirit finds his spirit. He's about to be broken, right?
Yeah.
He basically is broken.
You see that again with the great nonverbals. The knees are shaking.
The knees are shaking, and then he gives up and he submits while the colonel rides him around and gives his whole speech about progress and providence and perseverance and bullshit, whatever it is. And Spirit has his spirit broken until he sees the other horses have their spirits broken as well. Because he's seen the other horses, you know, laughing along with him when he's like herding the farrier and everything, right? And when he sees that the other horses drop their head, that's when he gets mad. He's like, oh, you're hurting all of us, and I'm not going to put up with it.
And we talk a lot on this show about kindness and empathy and compassion. And those are all key traits of healthy psychology and a thriving life. You also need to know when to stand up, when to push back, when to resist, when to not. Like, sometimes submitting is a good thing, right? We talk about shelving your agenda. It's a good thing to submit in that moment and be present for the person in front of you. Other times it's not good to submit.
Sometimes use your agenda to fling the monkey off your back.
Yeah. Look at those landscapes.
Yeah, so beautiful and painterly.
So, question that I'm sure our fans want to know. Did the she-horse, the mare, which is what she-horses are called.
Yes. That is what they are called, Jono.
Did the mare do for you what we all know Nala did for you in The Lion King?
I did not want to this horse.
I knew there would be an F-bomb in this episode because it's such a wholesome movie and we cannot let that stand.
Movie. We can't. No. No, look, she's a pretty lady horse.
Okay, but he's seeing her here. This is a great example of perspective taking, right? He has assumed the two-leggers, as he calls them. He just has seen the negative in people. He's seen the abuse, he's seen the control, and now he's seeing something different. He's observing her, and
I couldn't understand it. She treated this scrawny two-legged like one of our kind, prancing around him like a love-struck yearling.
I'm sorry, Matt Damon is
unnatural.
above this.
He is not above getting paid $1 million for 20 minutes of work.
No, it really feels like it too, and it's not a knock on the film. It's an acknowledgement of the film was better in its first iteration.
The film was better without the voiceover, and they brought Matt Damon in, and I'm sure paid him a lot of money, and I'm sure they got him out of there before lunch.
You want me to apologize?
You know what? I love Matt Damon. He's done great work on a bunch of things. Nobody's perfect. Nobody bats 1,000.
This is the first time I've ever felt like Matt Damon was phoning something in.
It really felt like it.
You want me to beg?
I don't know. Let's try it out.
And this is meant as a compliment to the designers and the animators. You see it all on Spirit's face.
You do not need any of it.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, he's learning things. He's broadening his horizon.
People talk all the time about prejudice is wrong and stereotypes are wrong, and they are. But sometimes they come from a very real place of experience. Spirit's got prejudice against humans because of how humans have treated him. And all of us, we talked about in our Zootopia episode, implicit bias, we inherit these biases from our interactions with other people. And even subconsciously, we can start to think, okay, I've interacted now with a couple people from, insert demographic here, and I start to maybe have negative feelings because I had negative experiences.
Yeah.
Or positive feelings because I had positive experiences with this group of people.
Sure.
Instead of, okay, who's the individual in front of me? For Spirit, it's all negative because that's what he experienced. He's seeing something new, something different that's challenging his, it hasn't been taught him. We talk about prejudice is always taught. No, sometimes it comes from experience, but you have a small sample size.
It is impossible to have a representative sample size as a human of any given group. You've never met enough people to do it.
Which is why, A, it's important to consider the person in front of you and to check your biases at the door. And B, whatever you are, be an exemplary version of that.
Okay, we've learned, we've grown, we're
Horse likes him. Might let him ride him.
We've become buddies, kind of?
I love is this going to work? But this is exactly how you approach a horse that you're not sure.
100%.
Like...
Honestly, you actually do it with a little more confidence than that.
He just wouldn't give up.
We don't need you, Matt Damon. Go back to the set of Oceans or wherever you were.
Yeah, what were you doing in 2002? Go back to that.
Working on a Bourne movie, maybe? That's very, hey, I get to make fun of my friend, but you don't.
Yeah. Which makes zero sense for a horse to do, but it's great to watch in a movie.
Well, and I think one of the highest pieces of praise I can give this film is they nailed just the right balance between...
Horse and person.
Horse and anthropomorphized, yeah. Horse and person, like... Because he still feels like a horse, acts like a horse, but then again, like, you get these human moments, right? And it's perfectly readable to kids, Jeffrey Katzenberg. Just let it be.
Kids are smart.
But look at those backgrounds. That's gorgeous.
I'm never gonna ride you, am I? And no one ever should.
Ooh. That's probably my favorite part of the movie,
Yep.
is that recognition right there. I keep trying to make you into this other thing, and...
True friendship is understanding.
Right. And the other people were doing the same thing. I'm trying to do it more humanely, more respectfully, but I'm still trying to mold you to my will and who I think you should be. And now I'm just going to honor who you are.
Go, run and play in the Tetons or Yosemite Valley or wherever this is.
It's okay, go.
To the point where I'm not even going to try and ride you when we're being chased by an exploding train. I'm just going to run alongside you. Which is a great bit of respect, but also how did he make it out of that alive? You remember that bit?
Yeah. He escaped through the plot hole.
And look, I know we're quibbling and we're nitpicking about things in this movie, but this dynamic is beautiful.
Yeah.
And what it has to say is beautiful. And the landscapes are stunning.
And man, the animation, such good freaking animators at DreamWorks.
Yeah.
Good job, team. If any of you are watching this 23 years later, good work.
If any of you are still employed in this economy,
oh boy.
good for you.
Yeah, cheers.
Vital part of healthy relationship is honoring the authenticity.
Yeah.
Who are you? Who do you want to be? And I do this a lot in therapy. People think, well, you go to a therapist and a therapist tells you what to do and how to be.
No.
Well, if they suck. But but my motto is always like, okay, who do you want to be? What is your worldview? What do you value?
Yeah.
My role is to facilitate the healthiest, most healed, most whole version of that. It's not to impose my values or beliefs or vision for you onto you.
Yeah, it's to give you tools to be the best version of what you want to be.
Right. Now, if what you want to be is, potentially harmful for you, I will hold that mirror up and say, are you sure?
Or facilitate it and turn that into a really great 3-season show on FX.
What show is this?
No, I'm just saying that seems like an FX show.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Like a murder therapist. It's a therapist who helps murderers murder more murdery. Yeah.
Like, they need to do like a Dexter therapy, like in that world. Can you imagine how twisted that therapist would be? Let me help you feel okay about this.
Let me help you feel okay about killing all these killers.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And now we're in southern Utah or northern Arizona. And I'm not mad about it, I just don't understand it.
Oh no.
Hey, it took him 20 minutes to get there.
Oh, yes.
Again, did not need it. Hurt the movie.
But look at that. Oh. Okay, pretty great score moment right there.
It's well done.
Okay, couple details I like. He does jump from the very edge instead of like a few feet back. I love the triumph. I also love the bit of realism that they don't just like stick a nice landing and slide into it.
Well, and I love that shot from underneath, like with the sun behind them,
Woo!
and this shot over the top.
That
Like,
cooks.
that's freaking great. And then total wipeout. Perfect. Thank you. Only way it could be better is if they came up all scratched and bloody. But, you know, it's an animated kid show. You're not going to do that.
Why are you sweating? You didn't do any work.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, because it was scary, right?
Oh, right, scary.
I will say, I don't think they've done the work for this character that he would...
Yeah, it feels unearned. It's a great moment that would work better if it had been earned.
You need to see him second-guessing himself.
At least once, probably 2 or 3 times.
Right? But there's definitely the...
And having a horse nod at someone else, I'm sorry, guys. Like, I'm sorry.
Too much?
I love going a little too far. That was a lot too far.
And, okay, taking some heat for Road to El Dorado, maybe deservedly so, that we weren't crazy about the music. Understand that a lot of you were. That's great. More
Good
power
for
to you.
you, yeah.
People like different things.
People can like different things.
I generally love Bryan Adams. I love everything I do. I do it for you. I hate that it's been turned into twerking dogs and fails.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all.
I love Summer of '69. Like, there's so many great
He's got a
Bryan.
bunch of bangers.
This really feels like, oh, Tarzan was a huge success. Let's bring in Bryan Adams to do what Phil Collins did for Tarzan.
Yeah, so this is not personal taste. This is objective fact. This is bad.
Because again, it feels like they made a really solid movie.
Yeah.
And Katzenberg said, kids aren't going to get it. You're going to lose them. You need narration.
Then you need Phil Collins to come in and narrate it with music. Sir, we can't get Phil Collins.
It just bothers me because I liked the film as a whole so much that these things I'm just like, ah.
It was stuff that we didn't need, and it got in the way of what was already a functioning movie.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing too much.
Yeah.
Like, one of the big things in filmmaking is only do as much as you need to do. Never do too much.
I may have gone too far in a few places.
And sometimes what you need to do is way too much. I'm thinking, of course, about Peter Jackson. Always too much, and it's always just right.
The Grey Wizard, Dumbledore.
Have you never read these books?
There are books?
That said, he and his friend have this triumphant moment. He lets his friend ride him, they work together, and he's not compromising who he is by letting this guy ride him, because this guy has, this is starting to sound really dirty. But I'm going to finish my point.
Finish
He's
your
not
thought.
compromising who he is by letting this guy ride.
It's love.
Because they really love each other, and he's shown that there's mutual respect. And that's why it's okay.
That he is riding him bareback.
Oh my. Oh my.
Look, from a storytelling standpoint, like, this is a very, very simple movie. And our main character is a horse who doesn't really have a character arc. And, you know, he makes some little concessions here and there, like he lets a guy ride him once for a little bit.
And who hasn't?
I mean...
Oh my, my, my.
The character who has maybe the strongest arc is the Colonel.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get to see a whole lot of it, which is, I think, maybe a failing of the movie, but it is really effective in this scene. He has had a massive perspective change.
And I think the implication, because I agree with you, they needed to plant more seeds to really make it land, but the implication is game respects game. Like, indomitable, unbreakable spirit that's taming the American West respects the indomitable, untamable spirit that represents the old ways. I just think we needed to see a little more from the Colonel to make it feel more earned.
Here's another one. He changes his mind, which we see, and then we get just a little denouement, which is the sort of Inglourious Bastards version of Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron, where this guy goes back to Washington and is like, let's stop slaughtering the natives and let's live in peace with them like they kill Hitler in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, I think that's
I'd love
great.
the fantasy version of the American West where we all got to be friends instead of... So until next time. And that was when I knew I was going to let that boy ride me bareback. And watch movies.
Shout out and thank you to our patrons over on our Patreon. You can be one of them, folks like
Stella Luna,
Blue Wolf 8,
Marine Wing,
Hazel Law,
and Charbear.
And if you're not on our Patreon, you're not getting the full Cinema Therapy experience. Go check it out.